How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. Happy Sunday wherever you are around the world. We know what time it is. We're going to be talking about everything XRP because XRP is making some very, very interesting moves. And now, as XRP starts to make these interesting moves, you're going to see more and more people turn into the biggest moon boys on the planet. And that's what's funny to me because let's face it, over the last few weeks, we've been getting a lot of negative, feedback. A lot of people saying, XRP is a stable coin, this and that, yada, yada, yada. That usually tends to happen, but people forget to take a look at the bigger picture and see where XRP was late last year and where it is now. But anyhow, if you're looking at XRP right now, up 4.6% with the price currently approaching $2.30, also up 4.4% in Bitcoin compared. Now if you're looking at the market cap, $134.3 billion and the 24-hour trading volume at 2.1 billion, pretty much doubled since yesterday. Something is happening. But before we get into it any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer for you guys. Anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So, update. Barrett, introduces HR 3798 to establish a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve. A bill aims to codify, digital asset stockpiling into the law. We're seeing, big players coming in, and we're seeing laws and bills being passed, for this blockchain industry. You could really see how fast things are changing, and this is one of the examples right in front of us. But look at this: XRP Ledger EVM sidechain ecosystem. You could see validators, providers, explorers, oracles, indexers, dApps, bridges, core, auditors, wallets. People don't think that things are happening, but this right here gives us a better understanding as to what's really happening. XRPL Ledger ecosystem is growing and being supported more and more and more as we are going further, obviously into the future. So you can look at this though. XRP volume has nearly doubled in the last 24 hours. I wonder why. Something very interesting. I'm looking on the charts. Exactly what we spoke about last night is something that I'm still paying attention to. I'm going to show you guys when I pull out the charts to show you what's really happening. But this is something we don't really want to be neglecting. XRP is making some steady moves. We're in a weekend. On the weekends, more manipulation than usual. Yes, Bitcoin has gone up, but there's another interesting thing that I will point out to you guys, which when we put that into consideration, there is something that is quite interesting taking place. But look at this. I'm going to keep talking about this fund component. The Grayscale Digital Large Cap Index Spot ETF was filed to become a public retail ETF, which also consists of BTC, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and ADA. So Grayscale Digital Asset Fund, filed Friday, June the 5th. So we're seeing this happening. Of course, we heard about the NASDAQ index as well, which consists of something similar: Solana, XRP, ADA, and I think XLM, if I'm not mistaken. And here we have it with the Grayscale. And, we spoke about these indexes at the beginning of the year, and this is really becoming a reality. SEC actually approved the submission of the ETF from NASDAQ. This shows you the interest. Why are these specific assets in there? This shows you that retail interest is there for these specific digital assets. And that really tells you which direction we're going. People are going to have such ease to get into, these digital assets rather than, doing self-custody. And this is where things change, in my opinion. This is where that big amount of inflows comes into, the crypto markets. And moving forward, Matt Hogan of Bitwise indicates that XRP ETF is moving forward, propelled by growing institutional interest in cryptocurrencies. So is this something, or are there insiders that know something that is causing the price of XRP to start making its move towards the upside? Because this move itself is quite interesting because we're retesting May levels right now, and a lot of haters are going to be left speechless once we break out of this range, believe it or not. Once we break out of this key resistance, price of XRP can go up to 250, and then after the 23.6, and the rest, of course, is history after that. And moving forward, over the past 24 hours, XRP market cap has surged by approximately 6.25 billion, rising from 127 billion to 134, which again itself, like I said, is not a small move. But what's interesting here is, look at this. I talked to you guys about, Signal Flash. I said this 2 days ago. I'm sorry, 2 updates ago. You watched that title. I said, Signal Flash, and that itself was how XRP was creeping up while the dominance was still high. And speaking about the dominance, it has gone down a little bit. Nothing crazy, still at 64.5%, and yet you're seeing XRP gaining a lot of traction. If you're looking at BTC on the other hand, 106,100, we are starting to approach 106,800 key resistance. I spoke to you guys about that range, why it's so important. That level needs to be turned into support. If that's able to do, I think we could have a great week ahead of us. But this move, of course, is giving a push to the market. I'm not saying that this move right here is not giving a push to the market. It definitely is, but we're still in a weekend. On the weekends, more manipulation than usual. But the fact that the dominance is still this high is something that I'm not overlooking. But look at this beautiful, beautiful bounce for XRP. A moment of silence for all the haters here, because we're talking about an 11% increase, and we are once again retesting the significant key resistance. And like I said, last time we were at this level was end of May, so we're retesting some of the levels we actually haven't seen for a little bit over a week. And if this resistance is able to break out, like I said, the 24-hour trading volume is increasing quite a bit, which is showing interesting signs. If this is able to flip into support in the next few hours to come, I'm personally projecting that we could actually start making our move back up to the 249 zone quite fast. And I personally can also speculate that there are some things behind the scenes that are happening, because dominance is still quite high. We're talking about one of the largest assets in the crypto markets, and it's moving up quite interestingly right now. So let me know down below what you guys think. Thank you for all your support. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.